You sit in a dim room, the same room where you have sat countless times before, where urges churn like a storm. On the table lies a phone, a drink, a cigarette, a plate, a thought, a pattern. The pull is strong. It whispers promises of relief. It knows your weak hours and your triggers. Every attempt to resist feels like a war against yourself. Yet here you are again, breathing, watching, wondering if this time can be different. How will you beat this addiction forever? Not by sheer force of will alone, but by shifting the foundation on which the urge stands. You will beat addiction when you see it not as an enemy to be annihilated, but as a messenger. Its message is that something in you longs for attention. When you address that longing, the addiction loses its grip. Addiction thrives on patterns. It is a loop of trigger, behavior, reward. The trigger can be stress, boredom, loneliness, celebration. The behavior is the substance or habit. The reward is relief, pleasure, numbness. Over time, the loop becomes automatic. Your brain expects the reward. To beat addiction, you need to disrupt the loop. Start by identifying triggers. Carry a small notebook and write down what happens before the urge arises. Notice the time of day, your emotional state, your environment. Patterns emerge. Perhaps cravings hit at 9 p.m. when you're alone. Perhaps it's after arguments. Perhaps it's on Fridays. Knowing your triggers gives you a chance to plan different responses. If you know the urge comes at night, plan a walk, a call, a bath, a book. The goal is not to distract forever, but to create space for new wiring. Compassion is crucial. You cannot heal what you hate. Addiction often carries shame. You might think, what's wrong with me? Why can't I stop? These thoughts create stress, and stress fuels the addictive loop. Compassion involves seeing addiction as a coping mechanism, not a moral failing. It might have protected you from overwhelming emotions. It might have been the only comfort you knew. When you acknowledge this, you soften. You stop fighting yourself. You begin to say, I understand why I did that. I'm learning a new way. This kindness reduces stress and loosens the loop. It opens space for curiosity. What need was I trying to meet with this habit? You might find it was a need for connection, for excitement, for calm. Meeting those needs directly weakens the addiction. Connection heals. Many addictions thrive in isolation. When you are alone, the voice of the urge grows louder. When you reach out, it quiets. Join support groups, talk to friends, seek professional help, speak your struggle. Hearing others say, I've been there, is powerful. You realize you are not alone. Addiction loves secrecy. Connection dissolves it. Surround yourself with people who support your healing. They don't need to understand fully. They need to care. Sharing your journey builds accountability. When you know someone will ask how you're doing, you are more likely to stay on track. Connection also provides alternate rewards. Laughter, love, belonging, all of which release feel-good chemicals that make the addictive reward less attractive. Mindfulness rewires the brain. Urges often feel like commands, but they are sensations in the body. When you feel a craving, pause and breathe. Place your hand on your heart. Notice where the urge sits. Is it a tightness in your chest, a flutter in your stomach? Does it have a temperature, a color, a texture? Instead of reaching for the habit, reach for awareness. This practice doesn't make the urge vanish immediately. It creates a gap. In that gap, you can choose. The urge becomes a wave that rises, peaks, and falls. If you've ever surfed or watched waves, you know you cannot stop them, but you can ride them. Mindfulness teaches you to ride cravings. You observe without reacting. Over time, the waves lose power because the reward of awareness becomes greater. You develop trust in your ability to feel without acting. Create an environment that supports your healing. Remove objects that trigger you. If sugar is your addiction, don't keep candy in the house. If social media is your addiction, delete the app, at least for a while. If alcohol, avoid bars. Environment isn't willpower, it's design. It acknowledges that your brain is wired for immediate gratification and removes the temptation. It's not weakness, it's wisdom. Similarly, add elements that support you. Fill your home with books, art supplies, musical instruments, comfortable spaces. Turn your environment into a sanctuary where healthy habits are easier than destructive ones. Purpose fills the space addiction once occupied. You need something to run toward, not just something to run from. What makes your heart beat faster? What makes you lose track of time? Maybe it's writing, gardening, volunteering, studying, building. Purpose doesn't have to be grand. It needs to matter to you. When you connect to something bigger than your cravings, your life expands. You stop asking, "How do I resist?" and start asking, "What can I create?" Purpose gives you a reason to take care of your body and mind. It helps you see that your energy is precious. You begin to align your actions with your long-term vision rather than with short-term relief. Expect setbacks. Healing is not linear. There will be days when you slip. The voice of addiction will whisper, "See, you haven't changed." When this happens, return to compassion. Speak to yourself the way you would speak to a loved one. It's okay. You stumbled. Get up and keep walking. Shame can turn a slip into a slide. Don't let it. Acknowledge the behavior, learn from it, and recommit. What triggered the slip? How can you plan for it next time? Every step back holds a lesson. Over time, setbacks become rarer. Your muscle of resilience strengthens. Seek professional help when needed. Therapists and counselors can guide you through trauma that fuels addiction. Doctors can assess if medication could support your recovery. A nutritionist can help if addiction involves food. A holistic approach recognizes that addiction is multifaceted: biological, psychological, social, spiritual. There is no shame in seeking help. It means you take yourself seriously. You are not meant to do this alone. Healing often requires a team. Finally, let hope anchor you. People overcome addiction every day. Their stories prove it is possible. You will beat addiction not by punishing yourself, but by understanding yourself. You will beat it by befriending your triggers, listening to your cravings, connecting with others, designing your environment, finding purpose, practicing mindfulness, allowing setbacks, and seeking support. You will beat it by refusing to let a habit define you. You are not your addiction. You are the awareness witnessing it. You are the life force choosing something different. Keep choosing. Over time, the storm quiets. You find yourself sitting in that dim room, feeling a pull, and smiling gently because you know you have walked through this before and survived. You know you will continue walking, one compassionate step at a time, toward a life where the urge no longer dictates your path.